Hello, Virgo.
Welcome to my channel, Sarah Angel Tarot.
This is your reading, and remember, it will not resonate with all Virgo individuals, but this is for those born on the zodiac sign of Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It don't matter. Looking for new energies, hopefully positive energies for Virgo. Oops, something wants to come out. Somebody dealing with the King of Rods, possible fire sign. This is meant to come out. It'll come out again. See what's going on here. Beginning energy. I always look for a positive reading, but you know, we get what we get and then we work through it. Let's see. Incoming energy. The Star card. Do you feel like something's hopeless? Do you feel like things are kind of looking on a downside? So it's something we were all experiencing, and maybe, you know, things just, you know, things were being thrown a monkey wrench into every time we were trying to do something, most of us anyway. Let's find out what's going on. Subject at hand. Two of Pentacles. You may have to drop something because it was hopeless, maybe. Or maybe you got tired of trying to do two things at once with the Two of Pentacles. It also could be that you were trying to change up something and it was become difficult. With crossing it, the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups could be it could be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You know, I don't assign one zodiac sign to each of the court cards. I give the energy mostly. But the Knight of Cups is maybe you drop something or we're expecting something to change, and it has to do with an emotional offer or something you were looking forward to. And for, like I said, for some of you, you could be dealing with a water sign. What crowns you is the Empress. You feel like there's no growth, and every time you go for it, it seems like there was a roadblock for some of you. But, you know, as I clarify these cards, you know that the energies can change up. The whole story can change up, so bear with me. Foundation, you're trying to come out of failure with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. In other words, now you're going to start trying to work towards something. You're going to start taking on more energy and going for something, because something maybe you had to drop, something was hopeless, like I said. In the past, you did take a new beginning, a leap of faith, something exciting, something innovative. And like I said, you're trying to overcome past failures, but for you possibly to take on something new, like I said, you may have to drop something to go for something new. What is coming towards you, or not what is coming towards you, your very near future, is the Nine of Cups in reverse. At first, you're going to feel like you didn't get wish fulfillment. We're going to find out why. Like I said, those energies were really messed up the first 2 weeks, and everybody feels like they didn't get wish fulfillment, or at least a lot of signs didn't. Possible future outcome and advice from the universe. You may get a message, so you may want to have patience with the Page of Cups. It also could be someone young at heart. Some people say it's children, but I say someone young at heart. It could be either or. But I also think as messages. Pages bring messages also. And maybe the universe is saying something will come about for you. And it could be about patience, but I didn't get a card for that yet, so we shall see. What is coming towards you, the outside environment that has nothing that's beyond your control, is the Ace of Swords in reverse. Maybe, like I said, you were expecting a message, it didn't come in, or an abrupt message came in, or something you didn't like what you heard. Like I said, it's an outside environment coming in. We will clarify. Your hopes and fears, you're afraid you won't be able to come out of anxiety. You feel like you have anxiety. You're trying to overcome stress. The outcome is the Queen of Rods. The Queen of Rods can be a fire sign, could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but they're in reverse. So you're dealing with this person. You feel like you didn't get wish fulfillment, and you feel that you may have to drop something. Maybe you started this new situation with this person. We'll find out. But it's just those energies. I'm thinking they're going to ease up, though. Let's find out what else is going on, because I do see that Page of Cups right here, and we got to find out what possibly good news you're going to get, or an emotional offer, or something that will make you feel a little bit better on the emotional side. So, going to the beginning, we got the Two of Pentacles right here with the Knight of Cups, and is crossing it. So, Two of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, why are you there? For Virgo. Judgment. You may decide against something, or maybe you're having trouble deciding with the Judgment in reverse, making a final decision. But you may have to do something because you feel like you're not getting wish fulfillment. And remember, we had that, feeling like something was hopeless. But the Two of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, that's crossing in Judgment in reverse while you're there for Virgo. And you may have felt like you were judged wrong in some ways. Yeah, you feel like there's nothing but bad luck around you with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. You feel like something's not moving forward. We see that with a lot of the signs. It's very stressful to read this month because the energies were so stressful and people were looking for, everything new to come in. But Virgo is all about work, And all the smaller planets, a lot of the smaller planets are in Virgo, so it's work time. Now, what crowns you or the goal is the Empress in reverse. You feel like there's no growth. You feel like there's no blessings. You feel like I said, just stuck. So the Empress in reverse while you're there for Virgo is what crowns them or the goal. There's that Two of Pentacles again. Yeah, you're thinking about dropping something that's just not having any growth. Can I get another card for the Empress and the Two of Pentacles in reverse? And it has to do with your overall financial stability. That's what you're looking for. And that's what you're trying to accomplish. That's your goal. And there's nothing wrong with that Ten of Pentacles. And remember, just like the power of attraction with the hopes and fears, it's there too. If you really focus on that, you could possibly get it because that energy is there with the Ten of Pentacles. It's just, like I said, a really kind of weird time right now. Now the foundation, you're trying to come out of failure. You're trying to move forward. What can I do next type of situation. Seven of Pentacles in reverse while you're there for Virgo as the foundation. Yeah, trying to overcome sorrow and heartbreak. Something broke your heart. It's in the past, even though that's the foundation. With the Three of Swords in reverse is like a past type heartbreak, but you're overcoming failure. You're overcoming heartbreak. So Seven of Pentacles, Three of Swords in reverse while you're there as the foundation. You're still feeling it because of a Tower moment. There was a Tower moment, something you didn't expect that caused failure in whatever you were doing, and like I said, a lot of sorrow. But that's the foundation. That's what happened. That's what, along with the subject at hand. Now, in the past, you started something new. You took a leap of faith. Maybe you didn't see everything that was coming. I do like the Fool card because it is movement, but it's also some caution that needs to be used with the Fool card, because some people, when they jump into something, they don't always look around them of what could the possible outcome be or the hindrances that are involved with it. So the Fool card in the upright, in the past position while you're there for Virgo. What's going on? Yeah, manipulative situation. You may have been tricked a little bit. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you didn't have all the tools and knowledge you needed to jump into this new thing. Maybe you just didn't see everything clearly before. Maybe you went into something new, and maybe you got tricked out of something, or manipulated out of something. But the Fool in the upright, the Magician in reverse in the past while you're there, and you were just wanting to be happy. So maybe you took on something, like I said, you weren't necessarily had all the equipment and like tools and like knowledge you needed, but you were going for it, and it turned out that you just had a little bit of a bad luck, in a Tower situation, something you weren't expecting. Now in the very near future, you have the Nine of Cups. It is in reverse, and remember, I do shuffle these prior, and you see me shuffle them for you. So if it comes up reverse, not all reversals are bad, Some of them are actually positive, a lot more positive. So don't be upset when someone says, oh, they're in reversal. They're watching way too many movies, Way too many horror movies. But in the near future, you feel like you didn't get wish fulfillment. This is going to be probably, so the Nine of Cups in reverse while you're there for Virgo in the very near future. Yeah, you didn't get wish fulfillment. You went in this happy home situation with the Four of Wands. Maybe some of you were buying a house. Some of you were wanting to celebrate a home. Some of you were just wanting happiness in your home. but it had to do with the home for sure and the family around you. So the Nine of Cups in reverse, Four of Wands in the upright. Why you there? For Virgo in the very near future. And you felt like it's hopeless with the Star card. But you got the Page of Cups here as a possible future outcome also, or advice from the universe. So it could be the outcome if you listen to the advice, is more or less the way I see it. So Page of Cups in the upright, why you there? For Virgo, possible future outcome or advice, why you there? Page of Cups is saying make a new offer, go for new offers, or send messages, even though maybe celebrations or the people you were enjoying your life with or doing whatever situation you were when it came crumbling down, even though it didn't work or maybe it went south somehow. It says maybe send a message, or they may send a message to you. So Page of Cups in the upright, Three of Cups in reverse, why you there? For Virgo. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more options, but they'll be confusing. So it's saying just take care. It's just the energies are off right now, like I said. The Seven of Cups has to do with confusion, getting a lot of offers, a lot of them you don't like, but you are getting them. But it's like open up communications at least, so the things that are occurring right now start working themselves out, you know? So those energies start dwindling away to where the more positives start coming in. It'll start speeding up again in the positive sense for you. Now the outside environment beyond your control is the Ace of Swords. It could be messages that went kind of amiss, miscommunication. Someone wasn't able to tell you the truth. If it's in a very negative stance, it could be that someone cut out a situation abruptly. But not necessarily I need another card, but it's usually beyond your control. So Ace of Swords in reverse, why you there? For Virgo. Queen of Swords could be possibly from an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or someone with who's knowledgeable, a little bit older. And when they speak their truth, it can come a little bit sharp sometimes, but usually they mean well, but it may have come across wrong, or maybe you heard it wrong in some way sometimes with that too. But it's like a miscommunications. I don't think they meant to send that message the way they did. For some reason, I'm feeling that. So Ace of Swords in reverse, Queen of Swords in the upright, while you're there for Virgo, is the outside environment beyond your control. It's basically coming towards you. Yeah, it's like you're breaking free from something. Someone wanted to break free. I'm thinking with the Seven of Swords in reverse, you might have thought somebody was doing something. Maybe you saw them doing something, or maybe they thought you were doing something, and there's miscommunications. So the whole thing is, maybe you need to let them know in a way that it could clarify your situation more, or maybe you need to ask them for more information. This is wanting to come out, and I'm going to let it. Yeah, because there was with that new beginning, as there's a Fool card again, it has to do with that new beginning, and someone's trying to decide on something. I'm thinking, for some of them, the outside, they may not trust the situation with the Seven of Swords in reverse with this new beginning, and they're still deciding. And the messages, whatever they sent you, were either not coming in, a miscommunication, or you thought they were cutting it out. So I'm thinking the universe saying open up communications right here because of this. Now, your hopes and fears, you got that Nine of Swords, and it's a lot of anxiety. It really is. And maybe you fear this anxiety, this, you know, feeling bound and not be able to get away. That's usually an Eight of Swords. But this is the anxiety that comes with it. So the Nine of Swords in the upright, while you're there for Virgo. Has to do with the Knight of Cups, a message, a loving message that you can get. That's right over here also, Knight of Cups twice. It has to do with the Knight of Cups, your own anxiety with the Knight of Cups. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but not necessarily. It could be, like I said, you were expecting something that was more the emotional nature, that was positive, and you're not feeling like it's coming in. So the Nine of Swords in the upright, Knight of Cups in reverse, while you're there for Virgo. And you feel like you may lose your independence and gain in a situation with the Nine of Pentacles. Remember, this is hopes and fears, and you want to get rid of those fears because you don't want the negativity making it harder for you. Maybe, you know, I know it's really easy. It's easier said than done. I know that, especially with with the way the energies are. But it's basically saying seek out new messages, and also possibly watch out, like I said, for confusion. Open up communications again, because people are just not hearing things right. It's just, like I said, a weird energy. Now in the end, you got the Queen of Rods. It is in reverse. And now this is like hell have no fury, like the Queen of Wands in reverse. Believe it or not, even though it's like a fire type energy, you could take on this energy where you're really in a bad mood, you know, in a funk. So you got to sit there and really watch out. Either if this is you, you know, get yourself out of it if you can. If it's somebody else, they've really got a bad temper, and I'm seeing that with a lot of people. Okay, so the Queen of Rods in reverse while you're there for Virgo at the very end. What can we do about this? Open up communications possibly. Page of Wands, again, they're going to send you a kind of a, you know, a bitchy message possibly, or you'll be sending it to somebody. But the Queen of Rods and the Page of Wands both in reverse while you're there. In reverse is the final outcome. Now we're going to go back to what the advice from the universe tells you to do, and I can see what it's going towards. I can see what's happening. While you're there, Queen of Rods, Page of Wands, while you're there in reverse. Justice. Yeah, someone's going to seek justice, or you'll seek justice with somebody. You're wanting what is due to you, or they're wanting what is due, and they're going to possibly yell at you, or you're going to possibly yell at them. But the universe is saying, use kind words. Use kind words, because there's something amiss here. There's something definitely amiss here, especially with that Ace of Swords there. That celebrations or get-together went amok because of confusion with the Seven of Cups. So send a message if you want. You don't have to. It's none of my business. But that's how you rectify a situation, because someone may snap at you if this resonates at all. And when they, like I said, hell have no fury, like the Queen of Wands reverse, and she may want justice or you may want justice, but someone is demanding justice. In the end, you will take control. Someone will take control. They call this an Aries card, but I don't think that has anything to do with this right now. The Emperor in the upright. Someone takes control, makes sound decisions, and turns things around and keeps everything going. So it looks like you're going to regain control, even though the energy is just a muck. Maybe you are going to send a message to the Queen of Rods or Wands, the same thing, and say, listen here, you know. This is what happens, and maybe then you get justice. It has something to do with it too. And I do think that it has a lot to do with miscommunications with that Ace of Swords, Queen of Swords energy, where she's trying to speak to you, but words are messed up. And maybe she's saying, I'm not going to deal with behaviors I don't trust. So I'm thinking someone doesn't trust a new beginning that you were offering and needing or wanting, or you with them. And someone needs to make a decision on what is best, you know, instead of hanging on to two situations and trying to have a safety net and hold on to both situations, whatever is going on. You need to release one and go with the better thing so you can maybe actually jump into something. But there are miscommunications, misunderstandings, people losing tempers. Like I said, that energy is just plain screwy. It really is. And that way you come out of feeling untrapped with the Eight of Swords in reverse. See, not all reversals are bad. Coming out of this trapped feeling, you know, you were feeling it before and you still feel that energy, but you're taking control over that situation where you felt like you couldn't get out of, and you will move forward again with the Knight of Swords pretty quickly. So 10 of Swords in reverse, not a bad card in reverse. It's actually better in reverse. So this is your reading, and I'm going to let this go, and I will upload it as soon as possible. Remember, the energies are just kind of screwy. You just work with them and make sure communications are clear, because that's when people really get screwed up, that, you know, their tempers flare and they say the wrong things, or they're people just get a wrong idea of you, or you of them, when it can be just like a mirage almost, or just like I said, tense energies that will change. Okay, so that's your reading, and talk to you later. Bye.